You're listening to Turi Writer's She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marcy Persky. In this installment, what is so pressing that it sends you racing to urgent care? And is it more important than whatever is causing the hokey pokey or baby shark to mysteriously play in your hearing device? This is my first day of not feeling truly horrible, possibly due to the fact that I took a double dose of Tylenol. Urgent care can only do so much, and even while you're sitting in urgent care, you may know that you're being effed over and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, the urgent care are the ones that told me that I was fine when I broke 3 ribs. So they don't know how to read x-rays.
It's kind of like, when you would go to the school carnival and you'd spin the little wheel and everybody got a lollipop, but some lollipops had things on the stick that made them worth more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Urgent care now is like that lollipop spinning thing. Like you get something, but it may not be the good thing or the right thing or the reason you came in the first place. That's urgent care.
Like I tell you, the urgent care that I went to,
yeah.
The building is empty now, so I think that says a lot.
Yeah, that really does. It's kind of like a culture of a toxic bacteria. We've got urgent cares just springing up all over the place. And I'm wondering, who's staffing these urgent cares? Who's staffing these minute clinics? And I got my answer last week. A woman who doesn't know how to jam a Q-tip up your nose. She says to me, okay, we're going to do this COVID test. And this will take 5 seconds. So I'm in broadcasting. I know exactly how long 5 seconds is.
Yeah,
and she sticks this little Q-tip up my nose and she goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm thinking, what? And I look at her and I say, I'm sorry, but that's not 5 seconds. And she says, well, I don't like to hurt people. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. The whole point of this. It just was so insane. It was. And then their new defense is if they don't know what to do with you, they say, well, you should go to the emergency room.
Where you went to urgent care to avoid going to the emergency
That's right,
room.
because theoretically I have a doctor, but apparently the wait to see the doctor if you're sick is 8 weeks. I don't quite understand why. I wrote her a slightly snarky little note saying I followed your instructions. I went to urgent care. And because I all know they can read each other's notes, I just said it was not successful. And I have a primary care physician. That's you. And we'll just see what she does with that. Everybody complaining about what would happen if we had single payer health care and we were like Canada. This is what would happen, except we're paying more for it.
I've been waiting 3 months to see my doctor.
Oh, my God.
3 months. There's something weird on my back, and he's afraid I have skin cancer.
Oh, man.
But I can't see back there, so
if you think you have a life-threatening condition, make sure it's somewhere where you can't see it is the moral of the story.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. See, you know me.
I do.
You know me.
I do. When they said go to the emergency room, I'm like, what the is urgent care for?
I think they were all like, aren't the urgent cares all kind of related?
Yeah.
Like radio stations are owned by corporations.
A group. Yeah, this is a funnel to the emergency room, apparently. Here's the other thing. The nurse practitioners get twitchy if you actually want to see a doctor. But as a friend of mine who's a nurse practitioner said once to me, if it bothers them so much that you want to see a doctor, then let them go to medical school.
There you go. Except that at least around here, you don't always get to see a doctor. You get to see a PA.
I don't care what. When they can't count to 5 seconds, that's a problem.
You know what? Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I'm getting music in my hearing aids, and I don't know where it's coming from. And it's singing "Have You Ever Seen a Monkey?" So I'm assuming it's something that Eve is doing for the baby.
For the baby. The baby's baby swing is singing "Have You Ever Seen a Monkey?" And you are hearing it in your hearing aids. This is a new low in grandparenting. I mean, this is worse than the exploding diaper. If you have to listen to "Have You Ever Seen a Monkey?" in your hearing aids with no explanation as to how it got there, I think I would rescind my grandmother title altogether.
Yeah. Well, I'm hearing it in addition to you, so this is my multitasking. What do you say? Okay, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yes.
It's going to be something worse in a minute. It'll be something like,
No, no, no. I had my hearing aid set to TV because I was watching House Hunters,
so it's your
and
fault.
well, no, my TV wasn't on, so obviously Eve turned the TV on to baby video. Have you ever seen a monkey? But back to let's go back to house hunting for just 1 second.
Yes. Are you house hunting? Because you did mention before
No.
we started recording that you went from winter to blasting hot summer and you're miserable. Are you looking perhaps for a house in, oh, I don't know, Siberia?
No, but I'm watching these people so that I have something to hate on. I
What,
really
there's
do
a
hate them.
shortage where you live of people to hate on? I'm sorry. I've been to
Oh
where
my
you are.
gosh. I'll tell you about that in a second.
Uh-oh.
But these people named their kid Boston and they call him Boss. Who names their kid Boss? Who calls their kid Boss? The kid is not the boss.
Well, the kid's going to grow up with a skewed view of the English language, that's for sure. And the show's not political, but we all know people who've given their kids names that imply that they are variously royalty or numbers or fruit or
But
salads.
Boston, one day soon, when he learns to talk, he's going to put his hands on his hips and look at his mom and say, "You're not the boss of me." You
Mm.
know that's
What's
coming.
the appropriate response when she hears that?
Oh, I think that his only tooth is going to go down his throat. I don't know.
It's one
That's
thought.
a joke. It's a joke. I've never hit my kids.
You
I
could
hit
say
one once.
what?
Who
And
deserved
she
it
laughed. A patch on the tuchus. I know they laugh. I
with the diaper.
Yep, the
Yeah.
diaper. It makes it possible for you to say, "I'm going to give you a patch on the tuchus," and anybody who doesn't know what that means, you can figure it out.
Then you have to pray that there's like nothing in that diaper too. So okay.
Wait, no, no, I have an
Oh,
answer for
okay.
you're
What's
not the
your
boss of
answer?
me. You put the kid up for adoption, and you say you're right. You're not the boss of me either.
I had a neighbor. th- This is so awful. Um, I had a neighbor in Kalamazoo who would tell her daughter, the only child, that she was going to drop her off at an orphanage, and she would actually take her to the car and go drive somewhere with this kid screaming hysterically
That's the
in the
kind of thing
back.
that I would do. I would do that. I would do that.
I would you really?
I would totally do that. My father used to threaten to put me in juvenile hall. That was one I remember. You're going to end up in the Audi home, he used to say. And I used to say, really? Well, then I'll drive there myself.
Were you old enough to drive?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. But
then
he
you
but he
can't really
started
do anything.
grooming me for juvenile hall very young. Very young. I was being told that I would end up in juvenile hall. There are a variety of things that you should scare your kids with, and putting them up for adoption might be one of them. I don't know what kind of blowback we're going to get about this, but I think that compared to, say, like swatting your kid with a belt, I think saying, you know what, I've just had enough of you. My mother used to say, well, if you don't like the way I parent, just put an ad in the paper for a new mother and sell me off. One mommy, slightly used. So that was sort of the currency of the realm in our family. It's like, okay, you don't like it here? Fine, go somewhere else.
I just remember my mom chasing my brother around our circle driveway with a yardstick. That's my one childhood punishment memory
I think I
is
told
my
you
mom chasing my brother.
about my girlfriend, no longer living, my girlfriend Mara, of blessed memory, who she has had, well, she had three, and they still are living, three fabulous daughters, one of whom was a little bit headstrong and prone to fits of temper. And I was staying there because I was working on the radio in DC at the time for a couple of weeks. And one morning I hear this huge commotion, and then I hear the door slam, and then I hear like a quieter commotion. And I get up and I come downstairs, and I hear from outside the front door a very distressed 6 or 7 year old. And I say to my girlfriend, what's going on? And she says, Audra's having a fit. And I said, She's outside, and my friend said, I told her she can't have the fit in here. And when she calms down, she can come in. And I just thought, that's pretty clever. I would do that in a warm climate.
Well, if I live long enough to see the little one in the house grow up, I'm sure all my memories will come rushing back. And he just turned 4 months old, so he's almost ready to get a job.
Yeah, you better start getting that yardstick ready.
I don't even have a yardstick. Actually, I tore the house apart looking for a cloth measuring tape, which obviously doesn't exist in this realm. So now I have to go all the way to Flagstaff. I have to drive an
I can
hour
just
for a
send you
cloth
one.
measuring tape.
I can send you one.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I'll send you the spider that climbs down the side of your house.
Yeah, that'll happen when you get a yardstick. You still have it?
Unfortunately.
If you're just joining us as a recent listener to the podcast, it was about 2 years ago now that Marcy promised me a Halloween ornament that's a spider that you hang on the outside of your house that crawls up and down the side of your house that she bought to keep woodpeckers from pounding on her house. And I'm just intrigued at the idea of having a large spider crawl up and down the side of my house. And she promised, but I haven't
It's
seen it
still
yet.
in the package. I'll autograph it for you to make it worth
I think
more
at this
money
point,
than
you'll
Sunday.
put it in my coffin when I die. You can put that thing in there. If you bother to come
No,
to
no,
the
no.
funeral, if you're not too busy chasing your grandson around with a yardstick.
Yeah, yardstick.
Yeah.
Is that a tool of the past, or do people still have like big wooden yardsticks?
They exist for sure, but most of the time you have those retractable things that if you're not careful will give you a nice cut in the finger.
Yeah, those are called tape measures.
But they're metal.
We have them everywhere.
And when they snap
Since
back,
my husband's a carpenter.
they give you a nice cut in the finger.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
But they have locks, you know.
So I'm told.
So anyway, back to the neighborhood.
Yes.
These are the people in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So there's a petition going around to teach Bible studies as part of the public school curriculum, but only one certain Bible.
Oh, boy.
And when people said, well, I don't want my kid to be learning this in school because that's not what public school is for. Send your kid to
Sunday
a
school.
Bible place
Yeah.
school.
Christian school.
And
yeah.
The answer to this was, no, we're just going to put them on a bus and take them somewhere else so they can have Bible school instead of math, I guess, or English or history.
Or science.
I don't know. Definitely science.
If I were in your neighborhood, I'd say, what kind of crappy parents are you that you aren't taking your kids to church 3 nights a week?
Oh, I think they are. They definitely are taking their kids to church 3 nights a week.
And that's not enough?
It's not enough.
Oh, boy.
It's church during the week and rodeos on the weekend.
I think there's a country song about that, or 10 or 20.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to read this stuff because it really makes my head explode. But I'm not going to block anybody or drop out of the community, Facebook, Nextdoor, whatever, because I want to know what's going on.
Well, I understand that. I have several Instagram feeds that I look at and just sort of roll my eyes. And these are people on my side of the political aisle who have gone way off the map.
It's the same, but it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There's a lot of stuff on the internet that might actually on the surface appear to be your politics, whatever your politics are. But if you read them long enough, it can be scary because you think, well, I started out where you started out, but something has happened to you that didn't happen to me. How many people have signed on to this petition?
I haven't looked. I don't, because,
you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Turi Writers She Said What podcast. Since you've made it to the end, you might want to know that my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air, is not only available in print, but now also in complete audiobook form, narrated by me and available on Audible.